April 6th, 2026, 10:18 a.m. Sacramento, a title office. You slide over a signed trust binder. The county's deed record still names you. The trust is valid. The signatures and notary are real. But the county index, the public list of who owns what, still shows the old owner. You signed the rules. Nothing outside the binder changed. The person you named still needs an explanation only you can give. The plan still depends on its creator being present. The signing ceremony ends, and the binder feels finished. It carries instructions, powers, the people who inherit, and limits. It does not perform every transfer by itself. A trust can arise in more than one legal way. This story follows assets whose outside record keeper matters. Those assets carry three separate layers. First, the trust describes the plan. Second, an instrument or process is used to create the legal connection. Third, the record keeper, the outside office that tracks the asset, shows what its system now reflects. Confusing those layers creates false completion. The binder tells the family what you intended. The controlling system decides what happens next. When somebody other than you has to act, which record controls the asset? The house answers through the deed trail. The document is the deed. You, the current owner, hand over the deed. Handing it over can pass the ownership you intend, as long as the deed is legally valid. The county recorder receives the executed deed for recordation. The decisive field is the grantee line, the spot on the deed that names the new owner. Recordation then updates the public record and notice trail. Deed, delivery, grantee line, recorded copy. A recording stamp confirms recordation. It does not certify every legal effect. Loan, insurance, tax, and title questions still keep their own rules. A trust schedule is the list of property written into the binder. That list can name the house while the county index still names you. When the successor later needs authority, the deed trail answers first. The gold tether begins at delivery. Recordation makes the public trail catch up. The company changes the question. An assignment, a signed handover of your stake, can move the money side of a company interest. It does not automatically move voting or management authority. At the inverse phi turn, the interest splits. Gold distributions move toward the trust. The steel voting gate stays closed. The operating agreement, the company's own rule book, and state law decide how the person who receives that stake becomes a voting member. Any required consent travels through the company record keeper. The decisive fields are the transferred interest and the admitted authority. The reflected record is the ledger, member record, or consent entry. One signature can move value while leaving control behind. The person you named receives the money rights and still lacks the vote. The trust holds value on one side of the gate, the business keeps authority on the other. The account system creates a different gate. The bank or brokerage receives its own forms. The decisive fields include the trust registration, the trustee capacity, meaning whether the account shows you acting for the trust, the tax identity where it applies, and the authorized signer. The reflected record appears on the confirmation, statement title, and signer file. One field turns ruby. The trust name is right. The trustee capacity is wrong. Another field turns ruby. The trustee is right, the account registration is wrong. The mismatch stays quiet while you remain available. It becomes pressure when the successor presents authority and the institution compares every line. The successor does not argue with the binder. The institution reads the fields already stored in its system. Compatible records matter more than paperwork volume. Then the ownership map splits. Deeds, company assignments, and account registrations travel through the ownership lane. Retirement plans and many policies often use a beneficiary lane instead. The document is the beneficiary designation, the form that names who receives the account when you are gone. The plan administrator or insurer receives it. The decisive field is the beneficiary entry under the plan or contract procedure. The reflected record is the accepted designation or current confirmation. Plan terms and laws still govern who receives benefits and how they are paid. California also recognizes many written instructions that pass property directly, outside the court process called probate. Same family, different lane. Forcing every asset through title creates one mistake. Treating the binder as the beneficiary record creates another. The designation records the intended destination inside the governing plan or contract process. That reveal corrects the earlier assumption. Funding is not one motion repeated across every asset. The 4 folders return as one evidence board. The house lights first. Delivered deed, recorded copy, county index. The company lights second. Assignment, required consent, updated company record. The account lights third. Institution confirmation, statement title, signer record. The beneficiary lane lights last. Current designation under the plan or policy record. 4 routes, 4 reflected records. None of them certifies every legal consequence. Together, they show whether the outside systems tell the same operational story. A dark square identifies the remaining gap. A lit square identifies the record that has caught up. The binder remains the instruction. The effective transfer or designation establishes the connection. The reflected record shows what the system recognizes. Return to the opening binder. The pages have not grown thicker. The operating world around them has changed. The deed trail reflects the trustee. The company record reflects the interest and its limits. The institution record matches the authority. The designation records the intended destination inside its governing process. The person you name does not need your memory to identify the route, authority, or destination. That is the earned relief. Not more paper, less dependence. Same binder, different result. The relief is quiet because the operating map is visible before the moment of need.
The binder carries the instruction. The controlling record carries the authority or destination. Deed, company record, account registration, beneficiary designation. 4 routes, 1 question. When somebody else has to act, what does the system recognize? The reflected record does not settle every legal issue. It does show whether the outside world matches the plan. Build the plan so the person you named can see the intended route without relying on your memory. Check the owner line, not the binder. If you learned anything, like, comment, subscribe. Oh, next episode, we'll go over schedule types. See you in the next one.